Okay, so hello YouTube. While I'm waiting for the parts to come for the generator, I thought I'd do a couple more tests just so when the parts get here, I'm not wondering if they're the problem or not. There's the low engine oil switch that I can test. And I'll do that now and show you the results. Okay, so here you can see I've got the generator in a tub, and that's because I had to empty the contents of the crankcase, the oil that was in the crankcase. I had to empty that out. I also had to empty out the fuel tank, which had fuel in it, and then I just put it in here to let the remainder of the oil drip into a pan so I could dispose of it. And here's the pan I let it drain into. I won't be reusing this oil. I'll be getting some fresh oil to put in. But I have disassembled. As you can see, it doesn't have the side covers, spark plug cover. All the nuts and bolts are essentially out except two strategic nuts and bolts right here that are holding, essentially holding the two sides of the cover in place. And I found these two bolts that hold the inverter in will, kind of hold the cover in place so I can, pick it up and move it around and nothing will come loose. As soon as I remove these, everything will just fall apart and disassemble. So, and what are we involved with in nuts and bolts? Well, we have a little tray here with a bunch of nuts and bolts in it. I removed the rubber feet off the bottom. It has these little rubber suction cup shock absorber feet, which is nice. But I took those off because they got some oil on them, so I just cleaned them off and put them to one side. So that's basically what we're going to do now, is open this up to gain access to that engine low oil switch that's inside of the engine, so I can see if that switch is functioning properly. So right here is the part that contains the low oil switch in the crankcase. It fits in here. I'll unscrew this and you can see how it fits in place. One thing to note, these screws are a much larger Phillips head screw. Phillips comes in different varieties and sizes, and this screw requires a much larger Phillips head than the screwdriver that comes with the kit. So I would recommend, if you're going to take this off, to get a larger headed Phillips insert for a drill, or a multiple head screwdriver like this. Just get a bigger head for it because it needs it. Now we're going to take out the low oil switch, and it's kind of a finicky thing to pull out. It's not hard. It's held in place with the two screws, and the two screws press down on an O-ring that fits right in here, and the cylindrical part obviously goes through that O-ring. So we're just going to check this now. Put the O-ring in my little bag of tricks there with the other parts temporarily. Wipe this off, it's got a little excess oil on it. And then listen and see what happens. Okay, so I'm not hearing anything. I'm not hearing anything. A very faint sound. I can hear a very faint sound. So it seems as though the float is moving up and down in its float chamber there. I'm hoping that's the case. It sounds like it is. And there's a test I can perform. I can use this ground because that's how it works. The circuits are open unless they're grounded, unless the ground is closed. The circuits are open unless the ground is closed. That's the case on the run switch, and according to this, that's the case on this, because this lug coming out here is obviously a ground. So we're just going to test this to see if there's continuity in this switch. I need a meter to do that with. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to test this switch and see if it works. I'm going to insert one probe into, let's see here where we are. I'm going to insert a probe into the end of the wire here at this end. It's easy to hold it. And then I'm going to just move back and forth actuating the switch. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll try and hold it up. You can hear the switch when it closes. That would be when it's got low oil. Then that would actuate the light, letting you know there's a low oil condition. So this switch seems to be operating correctly. That means we have to look elsewhere towards the spark for the cause of the engine not starting. People use engine and motor, the terms, interchangeably, and they're really not. A motor is electrical, as I was taught, and an engine is like this, combustion, or using some form of combustion. A steam engine, not a steam motor. A gasoline engine, not a gasoline motor. A motor would be a starter motor. That's electrical. That would be what starts the engine running in your car, for example. A motor starts your engine, but your engine is different than the motor. Anyway, just terms. Okay, well, turns out the low engine oil switch seems to be working properly, although I don't know if it was working properly when it was in place in the engine. That's still a question mark in my mind. But at least I know it works, and that's good to know. So now what I can do is partially reassemble the generator, remove the spark plug from its hole, reconnect the high tension lead, or spark plug wire as it's known, and pull the starting cord to see if I have spark now with that low engine oil switch in a known position, being that it'll allow the engine to run because it thinks, because I've inverted it, it thinks it has plenty of oil in the engine. I'm not going to do any harm to the engine because it won't start. The spark plug is out of its hole. There's no compression. All I'm looking for is to see if there's a spark arcing across the electrode of the spark plug. Fairly simple thing to do. So I'm going to do that. But what I know is going to be the case is I need more than a couple of hands to do it. So trying to organize the camera to show you it not doing something, if that's the case, isn't going to be productive. So I'm just going to try it on my own and get the light right so I can see if the spark is crossing the gap, and then report back my findings. So let's go try that. Okay, I gave that a shot and still no spark. So I know that the low oil warning is working properly. I know that it's got to be something either in the stator, which is the generator that generates the electricity that goes into the coil that goes up the spark plug wire and makes the arc across the spark plug to ignite the gas in the inside of the generator cylinder. I know that the electrical part of things is where the problem lies, and it gives me confidence that the technician feels comfortable in sending me the ignition parts, or part, whatever's involved, and that will probably solve the problem. So now it's just a waiting game. I'm just waiting for those parts to arrive, and when they do, I'll show you what they sent me and go about installing them and see if that remedies the problem I'm having. So I know this video isn't complete, but I thought a couple of those things might be helpful to somebody that's also having starting problems with their generator. Doesn't seem like it has anything to do with the fuel. It seems like an electrical problem, and it's not an electrical problem associated with the low engine warning light. So that's good. I've eliminated one thing. Now we can, through process of elimination, just get to the point where this thing's going to work. So that's it for now. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, please do. I appreciate all the people subscribing to this channel. And comment as you see fit.